Hello, everyone, and welcome. We have quite the treat today.
It's very cool.
It's an exclusive
Yes.
preview/reveal for set 2 of Sorcery TCG, Arthurian Legends.
So the art is exclusive. The card
reveal is exclusive.
The reveal is exclusive.
Yeah, we're exclusively revealing.
Everything's exclusive.
Yeah, and the art is also exclusive. So it happens to be our alt art exclusive promo coming with our subscription service for Arthurian Legends. If you're unfamiliar with that, you can sign up for, technically it's out right now, probably when you're watching this, but you can sign up and you automatically get charged usually 2 to 5 weeks before release, and boxes show up on your door, however many you signed up for, and each box comes with an alt art exclusive promo. We're revealing our promo for Arthurian Legends today, and worth mentioning, at some point soon, we'll be putting a limited amount of spots available in our subscription service.
That's right. Very soon.
So if you want to be on that, go to our yeah, we'll get to the card in 1 second. Go to our Discord channel. There's a channels and roles section where you can sign up for notices, or we have a text community app that I run, where we're going to be sending notice as that's happening. So if you want to be notified, oh yeah, there it is. Nope. If you want to be notified when those are available to get this card with each box that you subscribe for, those are 2 places you can do that. So let's go ahead and get to the card.
That's right. Okay.
Tell me the stats.
We've got a 2 fire threshold, 2 earth threshold.
You had me at earth and fire.
Sir Lancelot, unique mortal and tireless companion. 6 cost. He's got a 4 attack power, 6 defense power.
We learned about the separate stats.
About that very recently. Yeah. He's got the word lance, which is a key word we'll talk about. And the first time Sir Lancelot fights each turn, you untap him.
Amazing.
That's pretty cool.
Let me just gander at this art.
Take a little gander there.
Yeah. So Lance, can you quote me what Lance does?
Yes. So Lance
he studied
means that you get a token. It's an artifact token, artifact token. But
okay.
It is used like an artifact. You can pick it up, you can drop it, you can do all that stuff with it. That's right. You attach it. Comes in attached to Sir Lancelot, and the lance says +1 power.
Okay.
This lance breaks after it's the first attack you use it on.
So Lance comes into play trigger.
Yes. Which
means it would have worked with something like Death Speaker.
Yes. However, very, very astute, Zach. It is not a Genesis effect.
Okay.
So for something like Geistwood, it would not work.
Gotcha.
But for Death Speaker would bring them into the realm and take them out of the realm. So he comes into the realm with the lance and then leaves off, and then there just be a ghostly lance. It's actually very, very cool.
So he comes into play with the lance.
That's right.
He lances a lot, as you can imagine. 6 cost, and we'll break down stats. Now, this art is done by Liz Danforth, and I'll talk about that extensively in a minute. We'll come back to that, because this is one of the best pieces of tabletop gaming art I've ever seen. But, so he swings for 4.
That's right.
It's 4 power.
That's right.
He has 6 health.
That's right.
And the first time he swings, if he has a lance token still, it's a 5 power.
It's a 5 power.
And because of his ability,
he'll untap. Pretty lancy, if you ask me.
Okay. Yeah, that seems really good.
And he's a knight, so he has a little bit extra defense. So if he's getting attacked, you apply that to his defense to see if it exceeds it or not, and then he will either die or he will stay on.
Yeah, absolutely. Beautiful card. I'll be curious, in Constructed, when I was preparing for Sorcery Con back earlier this year, 5 cost was kind of the break point. Mm-hmm. Once you got to 6, it's a very expensive card to be playing. Not that people don't play them.
Right.
So I have no idea. We've only seen a handful of cards so far, which they've been doing. If you haven't checked out, they have a preview schedule up on the Sorcery TCG website. Great job integrating a ton of different content creators. Just watching Cardboard Guide and On the Play. Yeah. And it just keeps going. So check out the schedule. They also have a website that's tracking all the good cards that get revealed.
I looked at that. Well, I opened up the window last night, and then I was like, do I want to see this? I don't want to see this. And I was like doing that thing where I'm like scrolling, like squinting my eyes. Like, I just want to see if I want to see this. I don't want to see all the stats.
I can't. Anyways, we haven't seen most of the set, so it's hard to say how good or not. It seems very good on the surface to me. Mm-hmm. Particularly if you open this in like a sealed or a draft, this would be top level bomb. Yeah. Like this is a card you would pick, obviously, especially with the promo.
But it is 6 cost. It is 4 threshold, so it ain't coming that early.
And you have to be on Earth and Fire. I saw the Guinevere that is 1 of each. Mm-hmm. So Elementalist might be seeing a little more play to get some of these cards in the table, which I'm excited about. But 2 and 2, that's not that crazy. If you were on Fire Earth already, you should hit that threshold almost any time by the time you get to 6.
That's
just
true.
Mathematically, if you're kind of on that split anyway.
And there's the dual lands, of course. They would give you 1 of each, so we could technically get them out with just 2 if you had ways to get a ton of mana.
Yeah, and who knows? Maybe we'll get a card that's like search the top 10 for a knight and put him into play.
Maybe.
Or I guess it doesn't even say knight, does it?
No, he's immortal. He's immortal and a champion.
And a champion. Interesting.
But I think it counts as a knight. He's a sir. So like for the purposes of round table, because like round table says knights, you have like whatever. I know it'll come up on the screen. See what's in my head. Okay. But I'm pretty sure. I mean, obviously, I think knowing sorcery, the Sir Lancelot means he's a knight for the purpose of knights do things cards.
I don't know. That's in the lore, Sir indicates he's a knight.
Yeah.
But given the golden rule,
says
one thing leads to another, and all of a sudden we back our way into this. So I want to talk about the art for a minute.
Yes, please talk about the art, Zach.
Yeah, so this
because it's awesome.
It's done by Liz Danforth, who you might know from such cards as Mirror Realms, which we have the big man here. But this is so special to me.
Can I quickly tell you? I just derail it for a second. I was looking at the full art as I was doing this, and the fact that he's got a helmet on but no gloves on his hands. There's something strange and wonderful about that. I don't know that this is like the sorcery thing, right? Like,
are you familiar with his story at all?
No. Does he lose his hand? Does he lose his gauntlets?
No. So there's a ton of videos out there about Lancelot if you're super curious. But essentially, he's born. His father's a king somewhere in France. His father dies, and then the Lady of the Lake takes him.
Oh.
And he gets raised there.
Okay.
And then one thing leads to another. He eventually ends up as a knight at the Round Table, right? Mm-hmm. And he's kind of Arthur's best friend / closest companion. However, one problem is that he is crazy in love with Guinevere.
Oh, that is a problem.
So he goes on all these quests in the traditional story. Now, I'm reading a book right now called The Winter King, and they paint him very differently.
Okay.
And it's brilliant.
That's what I love about the Arthurian Legends, actually. Is like these archetypes are strange, and they're used in a bunch of really strange ways.
And it's kind of this were these people real or not? And is it a mixture of people and whatnot? A lot of people even believe the stories of Lancelot are kind of merged from a couple of different knights, but I digress. So he goes on all these epic quests trying to avoid the tension of being in love with Guinevere and to not have it.
So be around her
and he's doing all this crazy stuff and defeating all these knights, and I mean, it's just insane. And then eventually a spell gets cast on him and he does some things that are wrong, but that leads to him having a son, Galahad, who's like Galahad the Pure. He actually is
A+.
A+.
Okay.
He's the spoiler if you don't want to know some Arthurian tales. His son is the one that actually completes the Holy Grail quest.
Okay. Not Indiana Jones.
Well, depends on which book you're reading. But all that to say, so he's this. If you search him on YouTube or something, very commonly he is referred to as the best and worst knight of the Round Table.
Okay.
Because he is this legend. It's Arthur's right-hand man, then ultimately betrays Arthur, which then leads to Arthur's downfall. So he's kind of, if you were going to have someone, this gets my point. So this art's done by Liz Danforth.
Yes, okay, yeah. This is great. Great segue.
So it is super special for me, and it's so indicative of the kind of person and team Eric and his team are.
Yes.
So we streamed, I think it was the early print run box opening. Which, speaking of that, Arthurian Legends is the first time we're charging subscribers for Sorcery.
Oh, yeah.
We have over 500 early test print cards that are getting randomly inserted into shipments.
Y'all are getting.
For Arthurian Legends. So every booster box comes with a Sir Lancelot promo. But then 500 plus of the shipments are going to get
a random card
the early test print card. Yeah. But during that, we were talking about, we were oogling the art, first time we were seeing it. Some of our favorite artists from various games and who we'd love to see. And I talked about Liz Danforth. In particular, Liz did the Nazgul from Middle-earth CCG. So I'm just going to lay these out.
Okay.
I'm sure you can show these on the screen. So there's, of course, 9 Nazgul. But the Nazgul...
Oh, look at that.
Thematically speaking, are human men who get corrupted and fall, right?
Yeah.
They become these kind of undead servants.
You can definitely see...
like this one particular.
The Dar of War here as well.
Look at Evanthus, like the background there and the texture and stuff.
Oh, you're right.
So I was talking about how much I loved her Nazgul. Wow, cool. And Eric and his team heard that and decided to
just randomly
on the stream.
You didn't say, "Hey, Eric,
please do this."
Right. They just said, "This guy seems to like Liz Danforth."
I was talking specifically about these Nazgul.
Okay.
And so then they do Sir Lancelot, which is a notable character in this tale, and if you're going to do someone after a Nazgul, he's such a good representation of human.
Yeah.
good and the bad,
Right.
and the kind of people that will become Nazgul. That was the segue. It's like that's actually the perfect character
Yeah.
to do this with. So he's got, you can see his armor. He's got the helmet on,
Mm-hmm.
which is the like creature-looking
Right.
face, like all
right.
these Nazgul.
There's so many cool
and
details in this armor.
the Nazgul Liz did, that is not like a thing in the books, but it's such a choice. She made this artistic choice.
Yeah.
Instead of just painting them in their cloaks or doing whatever, this is what spun out in the
That's
90s,
very
for the
cool.
movies. And so did the exact same thing with Lancelot, which is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
But the reason I like that, you're talking about his hands, is his story is tragic. He loves his best friend Arthur, but he also is in love
With the
with
person's
Arthur's wife.
Right.
And he's constantly trying to stop this thing from happening, right? But it's almost like an addict who just can't not scratch the itch.
Right.
And he eventually does, and it is the downfall of ultimately Arthur and then his
Once the
wife.
future
and
king.
then him. So to have them do this is just remarkable. And then I had the chance to interact with Liz, who I love Liz. And I'm hoping that we get to sit down with her at SorceryCon in Vegas.
Oh,
She'll
tight.
be there
Okay.
for a chat. And
Okay.
hopefully we have the cameras out for that. But also, this showed up, and it's just unbelievable what I still can't believe. A little story, personal story time. So this is literally the first thing I'm doing after my firstborn arrived.
Yeah, you showed up today for the first time in 4 weeks.
Yeah, it's my first work, as it were. And but I received this the weekend that the first time I ever felt my daughter kick inside the womb.
That was
And my wife swears, I can neither confirm nor deny, but my wife swears I was more excited about this than I was the kick. But the actual painting, and
that's the one. Yeah, that's the one to use. Look at that.
and you can just look at the detail.
It really is. This is the real paint. This is on the board.
It's
This
just
isn't a print or anything.
the actual painting. And you can see the Lady of the Lake there on his chest, of course. So he was often called Lancelot of the Lake or Sir Lancelot of the Lake.
Okay.
And then you've got like the lion looking textures on the face and the shoulder and stuff, but just beautiful. But I love, you're saying the ominousness of the hands. It's also, it looks like a bedpost.
Yeah.
But the humanity here of him.
Yeah.
Like a Nazgul is just a Nazgul. There is no humanity left.
Right.
They've been completely eaten away. But I absolutely adore
Yeah. There's a lot being told in this story.
that it is pointing to the humanity of it, because I think by the time he commits his sins, it's pretty easy to just not like him,
Right.
and to blame him. But there is still, I think, as I've gotten older, I can relate more. As a kid, another common story that I've recently reread is David and Goliath in the Bible.
Okay.
And David early on is fighting against Saul. And as a kid, it's clear Saul's the bad guy. He's making mistakes, and David is the hero and all this kind of stuff. But reading it this time, I very much relate to Saul. It's like, I actually empathize with it's wrong, but I empathize with why you did the thing
Right.
and why you felt the way you did. So same with Lancelot, where as a kid, it's like, I can't believe Lancelot would do this. And then as you get older, you just realize life's a little more complicated than that. So anyways, huge shout out to Eric Curioso for making this happen.
That's awesome.
Liz Danforth, the GOAT. Thank you so much. This is stunning. This is going to get framed and put up in the office. It's going to be a display piece for us forever, for as long as our company exists. And I'm just so honored to have this card and this preview. Cannot wait for Arthurian Legends. We will be at Essen, world premiere over in Germany.
I'll get to go
Yeah,
too.
you're
It's
in
gonna
on
be
there.
there.
Yeah. And then we'll also be at SorceryCon. So if you're at either of those events, be sure to say hi. Happy to give you a high five and chat it up. And if you are a subscriber and you support us, thank you so much. We couldn't do anything we do without you. And yeah, we'll be opening some of these up. Don't forget, text this Discord channel, and then we'll be charging in the not so distant future. And then Arthurian Legends will be here. I can't believe it's finally happening.
It's crazy. Like, it's, everyone was talking about like one release a year and all that stuff. And even this is like, wow. Like it hit for me. It's hitting perfectly.
Yeah. Well, and I think it's pretty crazy because if you back the Kickstarter, we've had alpha/beta for well over a year.
That's right.
And even before that, like we had the early print box, and then we had the samples, people playing online with that kind of stuff. So I have yet to. I love the slow pace.
Right.
And as a recent dad, I love it even more
Right.
because I don't have time.
How do people do this?
I value things a little differently now. So yeah, it's been a really great. And I think we'll talk more about this on streams and podcasts and stuff. But the thesis of we don't need to constantly shove things down players' throats.
Right.
We can just make an incredible product, and you can do things like this when you have time.
Right.
Like, I mean, they heard me talking about I can't believe this happened. Actually, it just genuinely blows my mind. But when you have that kind of time, you can. I think the set's gonna be phenomenal, and it reminds me of just, putting out less episodes or a movie every 2 or 3 years and just focusing on quality. And we'll see. I mean, this is a great risk and experiment. It's treading a very new path, and I'm just I say it a lot in our Discord channel, but sometimes it still baffles me that this game gets to exist.
Yes, it is.
And it can be successful.
Yeah.
And it's clear people are responding to this. And we have the SorceryCon documentary that's being worked on.
That's right.
The number of players being interviewed talking about how much they love that one set a year.
Yep.
Is astounding.
Yeah.
There's a note being hit here that people are liking, and it is awesome to see.
Yep. And it's just, I can't wait. I'm so excited. It's going to be cool. And if this is any indication of what's coming up, we'll have boxes for sale also after it releases. I don't know how relevant this video will be at that point, but if you don't get in on the subscription, of course,
we should have product in stock on or near release. Yeah. So thanks for being here, and we'll see you next time.